I think Mansur should have that.
The reason why I say it's quite a serious question is it's not something that ordinary Christians every day they think about it. They have thought about it in their daily life.
Yeah, you agree. That's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah. But it's important to know your belief, right? It's important to know who you worship.
And what you worship.
And what you worship.
What is it you're worshipping?
But you can keep asking deeper and deeper questions like this.
Yes.
And this is one question that is deeper than I've ever thought about before. Thank you for asking it for that reason alone. But you can always keep asking deeper and deeper questions.
Yeah, and we will.
So therefore, say
come back next week and we'll ask even more questions.
Come back next week.
All right, the week after.
So you do
therefore you can say that I don't know Jesus because you've managed to ask a deeper question than I've ever thought about before. It's not fair to say I don't know Jesus for that reason.
No, I didn't say you don't know Jesus. What I'm saying is, if you are going to worship someone, you should know who you worship. This is a general rule, right?
And what you are worshipping.
And what you worship.
But we can't fully know Jesus. There's always more we can learn.
Yes.
There's always more we can learn. There's always deeper questions we can answer.
Since now we have introduced you to this understanding of Jesus Christ, do you agree then? But whether it makes you a heretic or not, it's not my point. That if he was a human being, if you believe he was a human being, he must have a human will.
To me, when we say he had a human will, because he had a divine will as well, all that means is he had human desires.
Why do you now say, so God doesn't have a will, he has only desires?
No.
So when it comes to God, you give God a will, but when it comes to human...
He had a will, yes, Jesus had a will before he came to earth.
Right. So as a human being, did he have a human will?
He certainly had human desires. I'm not sure it makes sense to say he had a human will.
What's the difference between a will and a desire?
I to agree.
A desire is like...
on the camera.
My English is not up to me explaining these words. If you're hungry, so you have a desire to eat. It's something you need. It's something you need.
Like that, is it?
Do you make choices with your desires sometimes?
Yes.
Has Jesus done that?
Yeah, but that could have been his divine will. That could have been his divine will.
But did he choose the 12 disciples? Did Jesus choose the 12 disciples? Peter, James, John, Daniel.
In some way, it may have been the Father told him to choose those 12, but yes, he gave the act to do those.
And did he choose? Are you saying only the divine bit of Jesus made that decision, or did it as a human being did he make that decision as well? To choose the 12 disciples?
I don't see any reason why that wasn't his divine will they're making that choice.
But, so, do you have a problem with Jesus as a human being choosing 12 disciples?
Bigger fish.
No.
Neither do we. So what's the point? You disagree with us? 𝐭𝐡𝐢𝐤. Next subject.
So you are now giving human Jesus a choice. If you don't have a will, can you have a choice? Can you make choices without a will?
As a divine being, he had a choice. As a divine being, he had
a human being. As a human being, why are you depriving him of a will?
Because he had a will already. Because he had a will before he became a human being. That's why I'm doing it.
No, that's not the human will, is it?
I don't see any reason.
That's the will before. He had it beforehand.
Yes.
So when he became human,
that will could have been the same.
So he's not fully human then?
He didn't need to gain a new will. He didn't need to gain an extra will. I don't see why he has to gain a second will.
So we now come back to the basic question. Jesus Christ is not fully human because he doesn't have a human will.
That's right. Therefore, you deny the incarnation.
I don't see that.
Therefore, you'd have been burnt at the stake. You'd have been burnt at the stake. You deny the incarnation. In Christian England,
no, I don't think I have.
Twyford over there is where Christian heretics were hung, drawn, and quartered.
Right, they weren't burned at the stake.
Okay, I agree it's a bit better than being burned at the stake.
They might be somewhere else.
People like you, blessed, were executed even 200 years ago.
This is such a subtle issue that I don't think people were executed for this issue.
Because the Church of England officially states that Jesus had two wills. If you publicly deny that, you're executed.
The people in the pews in those days were not educated people.
I'm not talking about them.
They would not have been able to think
the official teaching of the church.
They would not have been able to
think this issue. But you deny his humanity implicitly.
I don't believe I have denied his humanity.
I believe you have.
I don't believe. I haven't denied that he had a will. All my issue is, I don't see why that one will couldn't have been the will that was controlling him when he was a human being. And I don't, to me, that does not make him any less a human. The fact that he was a divine will.
The point I'm making is, if you confess or if this is your belief, he's fully human. Remember, the point is fully human. Imagine now you have a
He
concept.
has a will.
Wait.
It doesn't mean he's not a divine will.
Douglas, if somebody is fully God and he has a will of a human only, would you call him fully God?
You need to know how he got into that state. You need to know how he got
If
into
you
that
call
state.
someone fully God without the will, but the will is substituted by a human will only, would you call that fully God?
I would guess not. But we need to know how somebody got into that state. To be able to analyse this properly.
wait.
We don't. You haven't told me that.
Douglas, let's deal with the concept of God. If someone is fully God, are we giving descriptions to God and say, but he doesn't have a godly will, he only has a substituted human will?
I don't
Would you call him fully
what the
God?
difference between a human will and a godly will is. A will is the ability to choose. The ability to
so
choose.
our
I don't
will-
see the difference between a human will and a divine will.
So you're saying the will of any agent, whether it's human or divine, is the same?
With my limited ignorant understanding, it could well be. With my limited ignorant understanding, yes, I can see why it couldn't be that.
Okay, I'm not going to go any further. Let's leave it to your concepts like this.
I'm just concerned you worship a human being indiscriminately with God. Worshipping God is clear,
I'm not
but you
concerned.
worship
I
a
don't
man as
worship
well.
God. I don't do. I'm not sure I do any worship of God. If you're going to be really honest about this.
No, I'm saying you worship a man, you know he's a man, you admit to worshipping a
I'm just
man.
doing. I haven't admitted to worship him.
Oh, you don't worship Jesus?
I'm not sure I do any worship at all. I should be worshipping Jesus, but I'm not sure I do any worship at all.
What exactly do you do as a Christian?
That's a good question.
I mean, what
Good
you get up
question.
to?
The reason
What's actually where we're going, yeah?
I'm not on WhatsApp.
Oh well, that's not going to go very far, is it?
the reason why I'm saying, okay, let's leave it, because you seem to be thinking like this. The attributes of the divine, some attributes can be same as the creating. We believe, and I'm sure you believe as well, God's attributes are perfect. The human attributes, which may mirror something of his attributes, like we may be loving, we may be kind, merciful, but our attributes are not perfect. We have wills, but our wills are not perfect, are they? You somehow think they're the
It's
same.
impossible for them to. It's true that they're not perfect, but it's not impossible for them to be perfect because Adam and Eve were sinless certainly for several hours, if not several months.
Sinlessness doesn't mean
perfect.
perfection, is it? You're equating sinlessness with perfection.
Yes, yeah, and I don't see what's the difference. Well, I don't see. I can't see a difference at the moment between sinlessness and perfection.
My cat is sinless. It's not perfect, believe me.
Cat,
My cat.
is it alive?
It's Schrodinger's cat. No.
Is it alive?
Unless you open the box, yeah, we don't know. No, seriously, there are lots of creatures in the universe that are sinless, but they don't have will.
Do you know what I mean by perfect? Free from
No, it's not a
all
moral agent. Your cat's
deficiencies.
not a moral agent.
Precisely.
I am a moral
Precisely.
agent.
So sinlessness is not the same as perfection. I'm finally saying that as an example. It's an
For
illustrative
moral
point.
agents, for
That
moral agents,
sinlessness does not equal perfection.
for moral agents. Okay, let me make this statement. Maybe you can knock it down, and I'll learn something. For moral agents, sinlessness and perfection are the same thing.
The way I'm describing or defining perfection to you is free from all deficiencies, imperfections. But, all deficiencies free from. So in a human will, do you make will the choice correctly all the single time, every single time?
For me, what you do with the will doesn't make it not perfect. Okay, it's wrong for me to choose to sin. Absolutely, it's wrong for me to choose to sin. That's not what I'm
When
saying.
you make choices, when you make inferences, when you make decisions, all of this, we are not perfect beings, are we?
Can I give an example of this? Adam and Eve were sinless, but they still sinned ultimately.
Eventually, yes.
Hang on. So their sinless state as humans does not mean they're immune from sin ultimately. God's sinlessness, if we can talk in those terms, is always going to be sinless by virtue of the fact that he is God and does not sin.
No, Jesus was
therefore,
genuinely tempted.
sinlessness.
Jesus was genuinely tempted.
No, you're assuming a point here. God never sins, he is sinless. Adam and Eve never sinned, but as they were finite, limited creatures, they were liable to sin as indeed they did sin. So there's a difference between a sinless, finite creature and the sinlessness of God. One can and did sin, another one can never sin by definition.
I dispute.
Yeah?
No, I think God can sin because God chose to limit himself to a human
God can
body,
sin.
and as a limited being in the human body, he was therefore able to sin. As it happened, he didn't.
How many heresies are
As it
committed?
happened, he didn't.
You think
But
a
he was
perfect God can
capable.
sin?
If Jesus was capable of sinning, he didn't do it, but he was capable.
Jesus wasn't God.
According to Islam's theology, not according
According to Jesus, he says in John chapter 17 verse 1, what is eternal life? That you alone, according to God, are the one true God, and to believe that, and to believe in Jesus whom you have sent. He pointed away to himself as the one true God. Is it John 17? Yeah. I'll have to look it up there. 17 verse 3 then.
No, it's definitely not verse 3. I'm sure it's not 17 verse 3.
Alright, the reference is, the point is, did Jesus say that in John's Gospel? That's the point.
Yeah, you put a subtle different spin on it, that's why I didn't recognise it.
Spin? It is chapter 17. Yes. And this is eternal life. It is here, look, 17. This eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent.
What was the point?
If Jesus was God, he would have said that you know me, the only true God. He doesn't say that. He says you, the only true God. Therefore, he's not including himself in the definition of the only true God.
He goes on to say things that definitely show he is including himself. I'm just saying, only a couple of verses later,
I want to understand your belief a bit more, right? As I said, I don't have a problem with your heretical beliefs if they're defined as heresy. It's not about labeling someone as a heretic.
Report you to the church.
Okay, it's important.
You're welcome to.
Yeah.
Really?
It's important.
I'm not sure they're going to do anything.
It's important that we speak to you on your beliefs rather than on someone else's beliefs. Right. Do you believe?
Sorry, you're asking me about things I haven't thought about before.
No, think about it.
Therefore,
These are introductions to think about.
What I come up with off the fly is not necessarily my belief, because I might go away and have to think about it.
Don't think about
To be fair.
it. Do you accept God is perfect?
Yes, but
Yes,
what does
but-
that word mean? What does that word
Free
mean?
from all deficiencies.
Okay, right.
Do you accept that?
Yes, in that, right. Yes, I agree. God is that,
Always?
and I'm not.
Always? Or sometimes it's perfect and sometimes it's
So
imperfect.
the way you define that, the way you mean free from all deficiencies, then no, because Jesus was not.
So
The way you
basically,
define it.
so you don't believe
Another
God is
heresy.
perfect. You believe God is perfect sometimes and imperfect some other times.
Well, how can there be a heresy in that what I've just said?
Say God is not perfect is a heresy in any point.
No, the way that Mansur means free from all deficiencies, that's a Muslim understanding
No,
of
it's
that
not.
term.
No,
Yes.
no, respect it's
Jesus
not.
was not.
If you read Thomas Aquinas' Summa Theologica, the standard work on this, he talks in exactly these terms. He says God is the eternal, the unperfect, the unchanging God.
Jesus, when he was a man on earth, he was not
This is standard.
omnipotent.
No, but I'm talking
He was not
about.
omnipotent. I wasn't-
Indeed, he wasn't. You're right, and that's precisely why he wasn't God.
I meant
Look,
all that. He
we're
wasn't
not
all-knowing.
talking about Jesus. We're talking about God here, and you've got to separate them out in your mind. They're not the same. In the Bible,
No, I
they're not the
agree.
same.
Jesus is one member of the Trinity, but he is the divine being.
We're not talking about
He's
Jesus.
the divine being.
We're talking about God in his eternal aspect. And the way Mansur is talking, although it's Islamic, is also the way some Christian theologians speak as well. It's not just Mansur, it's how your people speak.
When I say God is not always free from all deficiencies in the way Mansur means it, I mean, yes, that's true, because Jesus, when Jesus,
It's nothing to do with Jesus.
one member of the Trinity came to earth as Jesus, he was not free from all deficiencies in the way
It's
Mansur
nothing to
means
do
that
with Jesus.
terminology.
Jesus only existed from 2,000 years ago. Jesus never existed before
I
incarnation.
dispute that.
No,
You know I don't
seriously.
believe that. You
No,
know
no.
I don't believe that.
No, that's theologically heresy as well. Jesus came into existence as a man
He was
called
given
Jesus
that. Yeah, he was given that
2,000
name
years ago.
when he was born at death.
Yahweh wasn't called Jesus before that.
Yeah, you're right. He was
Thank
given
you.
that name when he was born as a baby.
But he
at
wasn't a man
Bethlehem.
then either, was he?
was a
As
baby.
Yahweh.
He was a baby.
No, before the
yeah, fine.
incarnation, was there a Jesus? Before the
There was a
incarnation.
second person of the Trinity.
I didn't ask you that. Before the incarnation, was there a Jesus? The human Jesus, a guy called Jesus.
No, there wasn't a human Jesus. No,
Or any Jesus that you like.
there were people called Jesus, but that's
No,
not
no,
what
I
we
mean,
mean.
talking about
That's not
God
what we
here.
mean. No.
So yeah, Jesus didn't exist before the incarnation. So for you to contradict what he's saying on the basis of a historical technicality is to miss the point.
The person that became Jesus existed before the incarnation. The person that became Jesus existed
so
before
God
the
was
incarnation.
part human before the incarnation.
No.
You just said he was. Jesus was a human being.
He didn't take on. He hadn't.
Jesus was a human being who
incarnate.
lived in Nazareth 2,000 years ago. He did not exist as God or with
The
God before
person
then.
that became Jesus was not incarnate before the incarnation.
I agree. But he wasn't called Jesus.
But he
wasn't human.
existed. But he existed.
So the human Jesus existed.
No, the person that became incarnate existed before the incarnation.
Well, by definition, of course. What you've just said there, by definition.
So you say one part of the divine became imperfect. You still entertain
In
the
the way
idea.
you mean imperfect, yes.
No. So you still
In the
entertain
way you mean
so
imperfect.
you are still entertaining the idea a perfect being can become imperfect.
In the way you mean the word imperfect, yes.
Yeah,
I'm
that
not sure
means-
that I
that
would
means-
use your definition.
No,
but with
that
your definition,
means,
yes.
With the definition that we are now working on or working
Yes.
with, you don't know what perfection is. Because perfection means you're not imperfect. So you're saying it's
You-
like this.
you
It's like
define
this.
perfect meaning is free from all
Let me give you another
deficiencies.
example.
Free from all
This example is very
deficiencies,
close to your heart, right? And your understanding. Do you believe God is loving? Of course you do.
Yes.
Right. So can your God,
An easy question to answer.
can your God become sometimes not loving? Become imperfect and not loving? Or is he always loving?
I would guess that if Jesus had sinned, then yes. But that didn't happen.
So
That
basically,
didn't happen.
what you're affirming, again, the all-loving God can stop from loving and be not loving. That's what you're saying.
If Jesus had sinned, I don't know what the full consequences of that would be, but I would suspect that it means that God at that point may not, or at least Jesus would not be loving. But that didn't happen. That's a hypothetical issue. It didn't happen. So God has not stopped being loving. I'm not absolutely sure that he could, but I suspect that is the case.
But if you believe perfection, perfect being can become imperfect, that's what it means. That
With your definition.
He could
With your definition.
be not loving at all, right? Is God truth? Yes, of course he is truth.
I'm not sure about the is.
The truth. Can he be
The truth and the light, remember?
Can he be less than the truth and become not the truth and be opposite? Imperfect.
I'm not sure what those terminology means.
Is he the source of all the truth? And he always speaks the truth.
Well, yeah, great. God always speaks the truth. Yes,
Right.
absolutely. But that's not really what you were saying was far deeper than that.
So can he become imperfect and not always speak the truth in your concept of God?
While Jesus was a man on earth, he could have chosen to lie. He didn't, but he could have done. Satan genuinely tempted Jesus. He did not give in to Satan's temptation, but I believe the possibility was there that he could have done.
Fair enough. This is what you believe, right? We offer you Islam, an Islamic concept of God, where God is perfect all the time. We invite you to embrace this belief.
But
Listen,
that
Douglas,
perfection
listen.
naturally includes limitation.
Listen,
that
God
perfection
never-
naturally includes limitation.
Listen, the concept we want you to embrace, and we're inviting you to, is God is perfect all the time. He never becomes imperfect. And that's one of the reasons why he's worthy of worship. A perfect being.
And ultimately, I think that understanding of God is illogical. Ultimately, I think that understanding of God is illogical.
Illogical?
Because free from perfection means he doesn't have any limitations. But if you're free from perfection, you cannot become you cannot in any way subject yourself. Therefore, but that is therefore a limitation. It naturally gives rise to a limitation. It becomes contradictory.
It's not.
It becomes contradictory. Therefore, I think it's illogical. That definition is illogical.
Let's have a look. So, if God has knowledge, did anyone give knowledge to God? The one God that we both believe in, right? Without making any difference to three centers of consciousness or not. Do you believe this one God received knowledge from outside?
No.
Right. So this is inherent
Certainly,
knowledge.
for the sake of discussion, I'm going to say no.
So this knowledge is inherent. Yeah?
Yes.
Can this knowledge be not perfect if it's inherent? In a being who did not begin
I'm not
to
sure it makes
exist.
sense to call knowledge perfect. Knowledge is knowledge.
If you are not given knowledge and you had it your own self, would your knowledge be limited?
My knowledge is limited.
Not you.
I don't know what it's saying.
Not you. A being that we're talking about who is God, who did not begin to exist, eternally in existence,
Right.
possessing knowledge.
Right.
Would he be limited in his knowledge, like someone knows more than him, or someone restricts his knowledge?
There wouldn't be someone to restrict his knowledge, but
So his knowledge is unrestricted.
No. It's just because there isn't someone to restrict doesn't mean that it's possible that it couldn't